Hey guys, welcome back to Fundamentally Crypto, where I teach you how to navigate the cryptoverse. So in today's video, I'll be discussing the mindset you need to have to get into crypto in 2022. So this applies to everyone who's never even stepped into the cryptoverse at all. And secondly, it also applies to people who are already in the market, but who maybe just needs to realign their thinking on how to approach this market and how to get the best out of crypto in 2022. Cool. So the first thing you need to do is educate yourself. So I know this may seem obvious, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't do this when they come into crypto. They immediately jump into the market. They just buy a coin that their friend recommended to them. And before you know it, you are either up a lot or you're down a lot, and you don't really know why. Um, and if you end up losing money, you leave the market unhappy and you don't really touch crypto again until a later point in your life. Or if you're up, you inevitably lose that money because you don't even know why or how you made the money. So you need to realize that the space is growing so fast and new innovations are happening every day. So you need to consistently spend time researching and keeping up with things. And the reason why I say you is it's not like you can go to a university to get a degree on this. And even if they do offer it, it probably won't be very useful. The value lies in you spending time reading up, watching videos, researching every single day. And that is really how you're going to grow your knowledge and understanding on the space. So, what often happens is, this may be you. You come into the space, you have a bit of extra cash, and, your friend told you about this coin, and, you think they know a lot because it sounds like they know a lot. It's just because you don't know anything. So, you basically throw your money into this coin, and then this coin drops 50%. You leave and you feel wrecked, and you don't really know what happened. And the reason why you sell when you're 50% down is because you have no conviction, right? There's no real reason for you to hold the investment because you don't know anything about it and you don't know what its role is in the future of the world and in the future of crypto. So this often happens because of one, a lack of education, or you could redefine it and say it's simply a lack of knowledge. So why is that important? Well, knowledge is power. So you don't need to be an expert, but you do need to understand the basic terms and technologies because this will help you and it will take you very far in crypto because you'd be surprised how many people that are investing into the space, they didn't really even understand the fundamental concepts. And secondly is when you're investing into something and you understand it, that is really when you can correlate that to real world problems. And then what can happen is you have a business idea and then you can utilize this understanding to build something that can produce an income for you. So the point is that education should be your base upon which you start investing your hard-earned money. So your question is probably like, okay, but now where do I start? So this is one of the best sites I found and a place where I really learned a lot, and it's called Binance Academy. So I'll paste this in the description below. But effectively, what it does is it walks you through crypto. It takes you from the very beginning, and it walks you through step by step, and it teaches you through written articles what is even going on in this crazy world. So literally, what you do is you click start here, and then it welcomes you and it explains, okay, what is a cryptocurrency, etc., etc. But I would encourage you, even if you feel like, okay, I sort of know some of the stuff, if you haven't done this, still do it because once again, it builds a foundation. And, how can you build a house upon a rocky or unstable foundation, right? Once you understand these basic fundamentals, you can really start, a successful investing journey. And I also want to encourage you, think about it like this. You spend, a lot of people spend hours every day on social media. If you just take half an hour, read 2 or 3 of these articles every day, I can guarantee you within a month or two, you'd be more than ready to tackle this market. So, part of this website is there's different topics. So maybe you like watched a video or something and you heard about, okay, what is DeFi, right? So you click on this and then it will take you to different articles on DeFi. And then basically from there you can read stuff that are interesting to you. And you can also select how much time you want to spend reading. So let's say you want to spend time reading a 10-minute article. You apply the filter, and then it will give you different articles based on that time you want to allocate to this. So the second good place to to get to understand crypto and just be taught in a more verbal and visual way is YouTube. So YouTube is a great place, but it's also a place that can really waste your time. And why I say that is a lot of people come into the space and they'll immediately follow the top influencers in the space. And they'll just blindly follow them. So they'll follow the decisions they make. They won't really question what they're saying. And this never really works out because remember, oftentimes they have an agenda that you don't see. So sometimes if they tell you to do this or do that, you don't understand it and you're just following. And at the end of the day, just trust me on it, it's not going to work out for you. So you need to ask yourself this. Say, did I learn something new from this video? Or was it just useless information? So how you want to approach YouTube is you want to be searching things like this. So these are different channels I'm going to speak about now, but basically you want to search how to or what is, right? You want to be asking those questions. So if you heard about NFTs, you want to search in YouTube, what are NFTs? And more often than not, there'll be quality content that will start explaining to you these different concepts. So I'm just going to discuss 3 or 4 YouTube channels that actually helped me learn a lot in my journey. So firstly, there's this guy called Benjamin Cohen, and basically what he does is he discusses technical charts and pretty much gives you an update on what Bitcoin is doing every day in the market. So I know like when you look at these charts for the first time, you can be like, okay, I've got no idea what's going on here. But what's nice is you don't need to understand immediately. He explains it really well, and he has these playlists with videos going years back, and he explains to you how to read the market, how to understand, okay, if Bitcoin is doing this, then the other coins are going to do that. And you start to understand how the market moves. And that's one of the key skills you can learn. But this guy, I can really recommend to you. He will really help you a lot in that. And over time, you'll start to understand how these patterns work and how to read these charts. So don't be intimidated. Just watch it, just listen to it, and I'm sure you'll catch along. So this one playlist helped me a lot. So I know there's 683 videos. Definitely don't watch all of them, but go back a few hundred videos and start more or less from the beginning and see, okay, what is he talking about and how should you view this market? Cool. So the second channel that really taught me a lot was Phonomatics. So this is a channel that uses a lot of visual learning techniques, and it really explains difficult concepts in a really simple way. So the main playlist that helped me over here was this one, just the crypto playlist. So you can go back to the beginning, but they explain just fundamental concepts in crypto in a visual way that just helps you understand, okay, what is going on. So like I said with Benjamin Cohen, just watch one every now and then and understand that this is education. So try and focus when you're watching it, because it's all information that you start to process, and it starts to form your view of what is going on in crypto. Cool. So next up is a guy called Sheldon Evans, and he's a fellow South African. And what I really like about his channel is he makes it simple. It's easy to follow. He's clear on what he's trying to teach you, and he really has good vision. So what I mean by that is he has an ability to see a narrative developing in the market and then to execute on that narrative. So what that means is, sometimes in stock markets or in the crypto market, there'll be sentiment. There'll be like a general agreement amongst the community or amongst the investors that something is going to do well. And he's really good at picking up on those trends in the market. So he's a great guy to follow, and definitely taught me a lot. Cool. So next up is Max. This is also a really entertaining guy, and he has quite a variety of videos. And once again, just go to the playlist and go and see, okay, what is relating to something you have questions about, and oftentimes he'll have a really good answer for you. Cool. Next up, another site to educate yourself on is Medium. So this is sort of like a blogging site, but what's great about it is crypto really utilizes this platform. So if you have a question on a coin, for example, that you've heard about, you would literally just search it. So let's say you heard about a coin called Polkadot. You could search Polkadot here and then look at the articles that are coming up with regards to Polkadot, and then you start reading, right? And you start reading and you reading and you read, because what happens is, again, you just formulate information. You add information into your brain, you process it, and this is what's going to help you make better decisions in the space, because you're going to have a stronger understanding of what's going on. Cool. And then the last site that you can really learn from is Twitter. So I know, I'm not sure how many of you are on Twitter, but crypto really thrives on Twitter. So what's nice about it is if you follow good, what's the word, like profiles and different channels, if you can call it that, on Twitter, you can get some really good information that you won't really find anywhere else. So for example, here's a tweet from CoinDesk that literally just spoke about the funds that had outflows in the last 7 days. And you can start formulating decisions based on this information. So once again, you won't really find this anywhere else, but if you start roaming around on Twitter, follow the right people, you'll start to get a feel of, okay, what is the market looking like, and what is the general sentiment in the market. So what you can do is just follow me and maybe follow the people I'm following, and that'll give you a good base on who to follow and what type of news you're looking to get. Cool. So my next point is the value of understanding the technology. So this is coming now after you've had your education, you've now done your research. Now you need to make sure you have an understanding of the technology. So this is important, because if you don't understand the technology and you don't understand what you're investing into and the problem that it's solving, then you're not going to really have any conviction when the price drops or when the price goes up. So what you need to understand about understanding the technology is this becomes the driving force of your decisions, right? Because if you agree with this technology that's being developed and you think it's going to change the world, that's going to influence the way you make decisions. So once again, remember, it's about your mindset, right? Your actions will follow that which you believe and that which you have programmed in your mind. So until you have a strong conviction and you say, wow, this technology is really going to do well and it's really going to make a difference, then you'll be able to hold an investment for years on end, right? How do you think the people that bought Bitcoin in 2013 or before that, how do you think some of those people have still never sold their Bitcoin? Because they understand the value it has in the future. How do they have that conviction? Because they understand the technology. So the main point here is, when you understand the technology, you will have conviction and you'll make better investment decisions. Cool. So this one is ironic because I'm technically influencing you, but my point here is, do not get influenced by the influencers. So you need to think about it like this: like, you need to chew on the meat and spit out the bones. So what that means is, you can follow influencers like myself or like other people, but you need to chew on the meat that they give you. So they're going to give you information that you'll be like, okay, cool, that really helped me. And then you think about that, you chew on it. And they'll also give you information that's not really applicable to you. So then you can just throw that out. That's where you just throw out the bones. So what I mean is that, an influencer causes you to think in a certain way. And oftentimes people get influenced so that they don't even think about what's being fed to them or what's being given to them. So I know it's like overwhelming, right? You come into the space and you're like, oh, it's so much easier. I'll just watch this guy on YouTube or this girl on YouTube, and like, they just feed me all the information and it's great. And I understand that. But if they say something and you don't understand what it means, your first response should be, okay, let me go back. Let me go Google this. Okay, what does proof of stake mean? Or what does proof of work, for example, right? This is how you need to approach it, so that you're receiving information, but you're not being influenced directly to make decisions. And that's the key, right? It's the independent mindset, and that's what we're going to be moving on to next. Cool. So this is a really important point, and it follows on from what I just mentioned, and it's being an independent thinker. So understand that this is difficult at the start because you don't know much, but as time progresses, and if you've applied what I've shared with you now, is um, this is going to be key to you seeing trends develop, and it's going to help you look through the noise. So noise is basically where you have a lot of information, but what happens is it clouds your judgment. So you can't really make, and execute good decisions because there's just so much going on, and it becomes like a cloud, right? And if you've ever driven in mist, you can't really see anything, right? You're just driving, and you sort of become very short-sighted. So when you are an independent thinker, you can, almost blow that mist out of the way because you get the information, you process it, and you say, okay, cool, I'm going to chew on this, I'm going to take this, and you're making an active choice to be independent, right? So you need to remember you cannot win in this game by just following the herd, right? Because what's going to happen is you're just going to get trampled on because there's just too many people, and too many people following someone. So take information, process it, and then make a decision. Cool. So my next point is that you need to keep a long-term view of the space. So this is extremely important because you can't just come in with your side hustle cash and just expect to 10x it just because your friend did it. It doesn't really work that way, right? I know it looks like it, but it just doesn't. So you need to have a long-term view of the space because think about it like this. Digital assets and blockchain technology isn't really that old. So what happens in a new industry is there's just so much innovation, and there's a lot of stuff that grows really quickly and then it crashes. And what can happen is you can get caught in the short-term hustle and bustle. And if you just try and look for short-term profits, you'll just keep jumping from A to B to C to D, and you'll never really hold something long enough for it to gain some momentum. So if you go and look, for example, at the market, go and look at some of the top 20, 30 coins, a lot of them grew by over 100x in the last year. So I know that sounds crazy, but that is the power of holding something for 1 year. Now I know 1 year sounds short to some people, but in crypto that's a long time. So think about it like this. You need to realize that this space isn't going to go away. So if you can take a long-term view of the space, invest in quality projects, then you're going to be a winner, right? The biggest winners in crypto are those who invest in proper quality projects and hold it for a long period of time. It doesn't mean you don't sell. It just means that you have a long-term view and you don't act, with a short-term mindset. So understand that it's a long-term game. Stay consistent, keep researching, and I believe that will make you successful. Cool. So my last point would be to disregard your emotions. So I know this sounds weird, but when you come into crypto, even into the stock market, you need to be able to make decisions without your emotions getting involved. And why that's important is once you do start investing in the space with your own hard-earned money, you'll see that your emotions have this powerful sway on the way you make decisions, right? So what sometimes happens, and you've probably experienced it if you're already in the space, but you'll make an investment, right? And it'll go down 10, 15%, and immediately you doubt yourself. Immediately you think, okay, no, this was a bad decision. And because your emotions are just pulling so much at you, and you're like, okay, no, I really don't want to lose this money, so you sell it, and then in about 3, 4, 5 days, it's up 30 or 40%. And then you're too scared to buy back in because now, no, it's run too hard, like it's too high now. And then suddenly in about a month or two, it's up 3 to 4x. So this happens a lot in crypto, but it's because people are being led and they make decisions with their emotions. So you have to remember your emotions are irrational most of the time, and you have to bring it under submission. So when you have this mindset of disregarding your emotions, and you're just making decisions purely off the information you have, and the facts that you have at hand, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be making a lot better decisions. You're not going to be following your emotions, and that is really a key. So, it's difficult to explain, but once you get into the space, you'll see how strong your emotions become, because, money is a stronghold for a lot of people. So, think about it like this: say, okay, this money is education for me. If I lose it, it's okay. I was educated for that. So if you flip that switch in your mind and say, okay, I'm disregarding this money, oftentimes you'll actually make better decisions, right? It doesn't mean you become reckless with your investments, but it does mean that you can make, direct decisions without really, becoming irrational based on certain things that you're seeing in the market. So thanks guys for tuning into this video. This is going to be a part one of a part two. So um, the part two will focus more on the practicalities, like how do you open an account, etc. How do you stay in crypto, all of that stuff. I really wanted to focus on the mindset first, because I just see too many people, failing and losing in crypto because their mindset is just horrible, and they haven't taken the time to think about it, or maybe they just don't know, right? They just have a lack of knowledge. So I want to encourage you to, maybe watch this video a few times and look at each point and say, okay, cool, I can improve here, I can improve there, and realize that, your mindset will determine your success, right? A lot of people just come into crypto and they, like I said, they follow their emotions, and they'll lose money and they'll say, okay, this isn't for me. But if you have the right mindset, you'll see, okay, this technology is literally going to change the world in a number of different ways. So even if I lost money, it's okay. I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow. And before you know it, opportunities will come your way. So, keep that in mind, right? Now that you have the right mindset, your actions will follow suit if you've applied what I've said. So in the next video is going to be focused more on the application of, how to practically invest into crypto. And I believe that this will give you a firm foundation to, be successful and successfully invest into crypto in 2022. So thank you guys for joining the video. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe if you found it useful. And have a great day. Cheers.